Hello everybody, I'm back today with a video, and today I wanted to talk to you about body image. This is something that comes up a lot with the work that I do with my clients. We have to do a lot of work around body image, but as you'll find out, there are other things that we can do around the way they feel about themselves, which really helps with body image. So what is body image? Well, we're all embodied beings, and we therefore all have opinions about our bodies, but it's about how much these opinions actually about our body matter to us that makes a difference as to whether we have a poor body image that really affects us in our life, because these opinions generate emotions, and if they matter a lot to us, then these emotions will be powerful negative emotions. If these opinions don't matter much to us, then we will have a more sort of neutral outlook. So one thing that we do know is that if your self-esteem is good, then the opinions that you have about yourself and your body will matter less. This is very protective against problems with poor body image and disordered eating. So where do these opinions about our bodies actually come from? Well, they're shaped by all the things that have happened before in your life, and this can go back to early childhood, and this can include things like comments that are made about your appearance or about, the appearance of others, from friends, being teased at school perhaps about your body. Family attitudes, so the comments that your parents perhaps made about themselves, about dieting and about weight, or about yourself or about other people, these can all play a role. And this is why parent modelling is so important when it comes to body image. So, if you have children yourself and you struggle with body image problems, then it's really important to work on that so that you can foster sort of healthy sort of attitudes around your body. We also know that parental depression is a known connection as well. So when you were a child and your parents had depression, that can play a role as well. And getting at your period early. If you're a girl, you get an early period. Your body changes early in your life, it can have a bit of an impact on your self-esteem as you're growing up. So this is another thing that might be impacting, played a role in those opinions that we form or you formed about your body. And of course, peer comparison is a big one. Are you a high comparer? And this is when you do that sort of unconscious scanning of the room, scanning of everybody else and comparing yourself to others. The media, of course, is another thing that's shapes our opinions and has shaped our opinions, but certainly even more so now. But if your self-esteem is high, this is again very protective against this. But in this world right now, where we have influencers all over social media, that seems to be having, a really big impact. But it's not everything, because again it goes back to whether these opinions about our bodies, how much they matter to us. So there are different types of thinking that occur before we generate these sort of powerful feelings and emotions that you can feel when we are triggered about our body image. And it's really useful to understand what these different feelings are, these different thoughts are, I should say, these different thinking types, because when we can start to notice them and label them, that can really help sort of diffuse a situation and stop it becoming leading to other things and other behaviours. So we have labelling, and you might find that you call yourself names all the time. I'm ugly, I'm fat, I'm horrible, all that kind of thing. That's called labelling. So if you notice that you are doing that, you could just say, I notice that I am labelling right now, and bring that to your attention so that it's not in the subconscious. There's Beauty and the Beast thinking, which is really about looking at other people. It's that comparison and saying, well, they're really thin, so I must be fat. It's all of that. Awfulizing is another thinking style that happens. My thighs are so disgusting, it's absolutely awful. Low frustration tolerance is another one. I can't bear it if somebody else comments on my body. And this is a big one that comes up a lot with my clients as well, is mind reading. This is when you are thinking everybody else is commenting about my body or thinking I've put on weight or all those kind of thoughts. And then there's wishful thinking, which is around, oh, if only I could just lose a few more pounds, that kind of thing. And so there's a number of different types of thinking that occurs. So if you can start to almost notice the type of thinking, bring it into your conscious, notice it, observe it, that can be really helpful. But it's also really helpful to acknowledge what might be triggering these thoughts about your body, and sort of trying to understand how it all happens. What are your triggers? So they might be anything from eating a forbidden food, and I say forbidden as in because many people feel that they shouldn't be eating, as I shouldn't be eating this chocolate, I shouldn't have had that cake. That can trigger that thinking about your body. Social comparison, being out with others, when you're out with others and you're comparing yourselves to other people, that could be problematic as well. Social situations can be difficult, such as going to the beach or a swimming pool or just being at a party. Weight comments from other people, obviously very triggering, and it might be, oh, you look really well, have you lost some weight, or it might be about themselves, any which way. And I think a lot of people just don't realise how triggering talking about somebody's weight, even if they think they're being kind to them, they're being polite, they're giving just saying a nice thing to somebody, it can be so triggering. So really important to notice that, and notice if you're doing it yourself, of course. Being with or seeing a thinner person as well can be really triggering. And negative moods. So this is a big one, because I do notice, especially with my clients, that they really can start to notice how they're having thoughts about their body. Feeling fat is a thought about their body that they have when they're feeling sad, when they're lonely, when they're miserable. That's when those body image thoughts come up. So you notice that it will matter less when you are happy. Menstruation can also be a trigger. This, commonly you feel you're craving more food, you want to eat more food, and that's natural, that's normal. You're craving different types of foods, often, more sort of high energy, quick. This can trigger these thoughts again. And, any type of social situations where you just don't feel that comfortable about yourself. So there's many different triggers. Those are just some of them. So it's worth trying to notice when you're triggered in a bad body moment and say what it is. I notice that I'm labeling right now, and I notice that I'm being triggered by this current situation. And it's making me want to restrict my food, want to leave the party, want to, whatever it is triggering in you, and whatever behaviour is leading on from that because of the thoughts that you're making. And then just say to yourself, what can I do right now to calm down? And thinking about something that you can do to help calm yourself in the moment. So I hope that's useful to you. I'd love to hear from you. If it's something that you struggle with, or if anything that's helped you, please do share in the comments.